God bless. I got to get to Tom in Marin County, who's been so patient. Hello, Tom.
Hewitt.
Hello, Tom.
Want to go ahead and bless Bonnie in Florida. We need a little bit more sageness and wisdom like that.
Wasn't she great?
She was wonderful. Okay, now with the self-aggrandizement part of the program's over, I got a couple of things I want to talk to you about. Yeah, sorry, but I mean, I got two things that are really bugging me, and I figure we're not on the air, so you can actually, it's like we're in camera now, so you can tell me the truth. Yep. All right. My first question was with respect to your interview with the Ohio AG this morning, and he came out and said, Yabba Dabba Doo guy from the FDA was standing in the way of it. And you said, well, we shouldn't go ahead and do anything about that guy. And my question is why shouldn't he just be removed? We're in exigent circumstances here, correct? Would you agree with that?
Yep.
Okay, and that the Treasury door has been flung open. So why wouldn't we go ahead and at least remove this guy temporarily, and after the dust settles, then we can go ahead and reassess the procedure. But this guy should
I have a theory. I'll tell you my theory. My theory is that FDA is overwhelmed by NDAs, new drug applications, and that applies to new technologies. So they have promoted a bunch of people above their rank and told them they're above their pay grade. There are GS-12s who are operating at SES level. That's government speak for you've got
general service
careers. Yeah, and so he looked at this application or she and said, "Oh dear, I don't know what to do. I'll give him $10,000." Now that's an irrational decision. Either it's nothing or it's full throttle to the metal. Yeah, but a bureaucratic cover your response is, "I'll give him $10,000," and then
but we're gonna give you latitude on that. I'd rather you make the mistake under doing what is best overall than sitting there and just saying no. Okay.
Agree. And so my theory of that individual is everyone's going to get one strike, and then you're 2 strikes and you're out. And so if you learn that don't touch the electric fence, get the hell out of the way, unless there's a good reason not to get the hell out of the way. And yell fire, by the way, if someone's selling us soap and saying that it's antibiotics, we need the FDA to say no, no, no. But if it works or maybe works, we need them to say yes, yes, yes. And we're going to cull the herd of the no, no, no people in a hurry. But everyone gets one strike. That's my theory, Tom.
Okay. My second question, and I really, this is not to be overly critical of you because it's not. And on the margins, I think you are doing a yeoman's work with some great ideas. But I really have to know, do you have some sort of fiduciary relationship with NBC? I saw Chuck Todd. I deliberately watched Chuck Todd yesterday because you were going to go ahead and be on. And I heard him ask the former vice president the question of whether or not President Trump had blood on his hands. Look, this man is infuriating. If he at least came out and said, "Hey, look, I'm not Tim Russert. I'm David Gregory," I could go ahead and accept that. All right, but he's using the imprimatur of Meet the Press, that he's fair, impartial, and unbiased, to go ahead and be the vanguard of the DNC. And I know we're trying to put politics aside, but this man is not an honest broker, and you keep going on his show.
All right, now let me tell you what I thought of that question. I saw the blowback, obviously. He posed it in the alternative, which is, does he have blood on his hands, or is that too harsh? And the vice president said that's too harsh. Number one, that helps Trump because the harshest possible question was asked, and the nominee of the Democratic Party demurred. Number two, I have myself botched questions. I was on the stage with Ben Carson in the presidential debate, and I asked him, I meant to say, do you have what it takes to order the death of thousands if you need to? And it came out the wrong way. I got booed by the crowd. So I botched questions. I know that.
Look, your record, whether you like it or not, is on the record, and so is Chuck Todd. Chuck Todd has a pedigree, and he also has a record of doing this stuff, and that's fine. I mean, if he just came out and said, "I'm Rachel Maddow as the male," I'd go ahead and occasionally tune into a show because I know where he's coming from.
But Tom, he's not. He's actually a hotline guy. Chuck is People, I understand the MSNBC brand has broken his brand a little bit as straight shooter. I hear you, but he's a hotline guy. He knows more about this business than anybody else, including Jake Tapper, and I even say Britt Hume. He just does. And
That's
so,
great. Well, then go ahead and put him as a political commentator. I don't want him. Look, I don't like Chuck Todd. I
kind of got that impression.
Well,
I do.
You know what? It's not whether I like him personally or not. It's his veracity, and just like a jailhouse witness will tell you anything you want to hear. Chuck Todd is not a broker of the truth, yet he goes ahead and hides into that. And if we got him on the witness
and we disagree. I think he is. I think he is. But you know what? I'm glad a lot of people have exactly your concern, and you know how to lay it out detective style. And detective style, there is evidence to the contrary, which you got to consider.
Not on the air.
Yeah, I am the evidence to the contrary. Chuck puts me on. The MSNBC people do not want me on.
Okay. All right. Well, then, look, I have to go ahead and tell you, it's gotten to the point now where if it's Thursday at 5 a.m. out here in San Francisco, I don't listen to your show. I got the classical music station's wonderful from 05 to 05:30. Just letting you know, as somebody who's trying to be fair and try to.
And Tom, let me tell you what we actually did deep dive research on every single personality on the show. Okay. Chuck scores. He's not you would be surprised who the most popular recurring guest is. Do you want to know? Sonny Bunch.
Cool.
Sonny Bunch.
All right. Well, okay. He's great.
He's great. And so I want to give him a podcast. Chuck is in the mean score of about 75% is Sonny, 70% is Chuck, and most of the guests, some people, I'm not going to tell you who, score below 60, and I'm making adjustments accordingly.
Is that why we no longer hear Miss Ruhle anymore?
I have no comment.
Okay, that's fine. One last thing. We're about a game and a half behind New York. They've just run the numbers in terms of the amount of direct flights that came in from China directly into San Francisco, Oakland, San Jose, and Los Angeles, and the 22 flights that came in directly from Wuhan. And so out here in the Bay Area, we figure it's going to hit this month. Going forward, we expect a huge spike in.
You guys are screwed. When I heard Brooks on Meet the Press yesterday said, "You're all screwed."
On the good side, no one's getting arrested. You got to really earn it in Oakland to go ahead and get arrested right now, or any place else within the.
Yeah, but how long? This is a question for you. How long until the cartels realize that they've got?
They already have. They already have. Look, those guys. I got to tell you, we should go ahead and go to business. Put a business model on the Zeta and the Sinaloa cartels, because these guys talk about getting rid of red tape. These guys are going to flood the zone with money. They're getting their drugs in. The thing we're worried about now is if the food stores closes, because then that's the ticket for civil unrest. If we can't keep that supply chain, that one lifeline going, that's the only thing standing between us and the mob. That's it.
First time in my life that I have regretted not being a gun guy. First time I've ever worried because civil unrest is. I asked the governor of Maryland on the air last week. Said,
Hogan.
Yep, possibility.
Yes, it's and look, we have some with the Black Bloc and all the anarchist stuff that we've had out here. We're pretty well schooled in their tactics, and they've been infiltrated. But those are just that would just be the vanguard. The people you're worried about are the lower rung citizens who are saying, I can't get anything to eat, or I'm worried about feeding my kids Tuesday, and what they're going to go ahead and do to what they're going to do to liquor stores or gas stations or stuff like that, right?
Yep. Well, call me back on air about that, because I'm glad to hear. I figured law enforcement was gearing up for this. I'm glad you're aware, but be safe, and thanks for doing everything you do.
Nice talking to you, Mr. Hewitt. Go.
Call me Hugh, Tom. I'm calling you that, not detective. You're a regular now. You're like Ione. Be well.